One of the most important things when it comes to creating a bespoke system is how will the hair actually fall. So it's important to have an understanding as to how you want the hair to fall. As you know, there is directional and non-directional. When it's non-directional, then basically it means that you can part the hair in any way. When you start to put specific directions onto the template, you're actually moving it away from being non-directional to directional. So for instance, you may say, for example, you want a certain portion of the hair to fall forward, which will mean that no matter what the client does, that portion is always going to fall forward. So the way you depict a direction is by marking on the template, and you generally would use an arrow. So an arrow pointing forward means that you want the hair to fall forward. If you have an arrow pointing sideways, then you want the hair to fall sideways. So for instance, if you would have a center parting, you may say that you want the actual hair to fall in a direction against where the parting is. It's very important to know how you are placing your directions, because if you place it in the wrong way, you're going to end up with a system that's not in line with what you anticipated. Generally speaking, if you want to depict a center parting, then you'd put a line across the area that you would say is a center parting or a side parting, and then you can distinguish how you want the hair to fall in relation to that. Once again, if you don't put any markings on, usually it means that you want the hair to be non-directional, which means that the client can actually part the hair in any direction. So I'm just going to show you in a different way using some paper. So here's an example of, say, for example, a hair system. And what I'm drawing here is a hair system with almost like a U shape. So the front portion there is the hair system, and the back with the shades there is the client's actual hair. So the front bit is where the hair system is going to be placed. So if I was going to have a center parting, I will draw a line in the center, and then what I would do is I will have arrows pointing outwards, which is basically saying that I want the hair to fall in that direction. So I want the hair to fall on the left and to the right of the actual parting itself. So that is a specific parting. So another example is, let's draw another circle. So in this circle, I'm going to draw, say somebody that has got frontal alopecia. So here there's just a line that's just going to go from left to right, and the front portion again is the area where they've got no hair, and the back portion is where there's hair. So the system is just the front portion there. So in that situation, when it comes to frontal alopecia, there could be all scenarios, but in this scenario, I'm drawing the arrows moving forward, which means that the direction in which the hair is going to fall is forward. That's useful, for instance, if you're creating a fringe or something along those lines, but again, you've got to be very specific if you actually want it. If you don't want it to be in that direction, then there's no point in putting the arrows on. This is a typical system, say, for example, for a man, where they have that circular bit at the crown. So you may want to depict exactly where that bit would be on the client's scalp, and then you can actually have your arrows pointing away from it, which kind of like shows that the hair is going to be directional from that point. Again, all of these, they have connotation, so it's kind of like you may want to check with the suppliers first to actually understand what kind of systems they build and whether they're making it directional or non-directional, so that you can determine for yourself what it is that you actually want to have. Don't try and get too clever with it. Try and start off something small and then work your way through it. Once you've finished with your markings, then you just want to cut your template. Just want to go around the outline that you've drawn using your Sharpie, and just make sure that you leave a little bit of space between the actual Sharpie pen and where you want to cut, because what you don't want to do is cut directly onto the Sharpie pen, because that might reduce the size of your template when it comes. So you just go around it. Fairly simple, and you just keep going until you've cut off all the excess cling film that you no longer need. And once that's done, there you've got your template, and that template is now ready to go to your supplier. I would always say just measure it back against the client's head just to make sure that it is a perfect fit and you're happy with the template that you have created.